Lights, camera. What we have here is something quite dramatic, a full-on theatre production in the form of an album. But the question is, does the audience cry and throw roses? Bravo, encore, we love you. Or is this like a 3 on Rotten Tomatoes and everyone leaves partway through? Or more importantly, is it worth your time listening? Hello, you are with me, Icy Snaps, and yes, today we are reviewing Raye, the London soul singer-songwriter. Now, I would compare her to Amy Winehouse, but she literally has a song talking about how people do that. But to be fair, she kind of does have that vibe, and I think it's a good thing. So yes, her new album, this music may contain hope. Bullshit. My God, I just listened to it and I'm sad and crying. I mean, I'm not crying, but there's definitely some heavy topics in here that do not feel like hope. I'm sorry, but there's not. Yeah, I know, it's probably an ironic title, and there are some upbeat moments in here. There's a weird contrast all over this album. There's lots of songs that are like upbeat, jazzy, that finger snapping, do you know what I mean? But underneath it all, it's actually quite dark. This is where the album really starts to work, and that contrast works. There's a realness to it, like when she touches on songs about body dysmorphia, for instance. It doesn't feel exaggerated, it feels a bit observed and somewhat stemmed in real life. Like I said before, the whole thing feels like a stage production. You can literally picture it. She's setting the scene in a rainy day in Paris. The dim, moody glow from the antique shop. Ignore the man having a shit right there on the floor. Stay in the fantasy, Chanel. But here's the thing, honestly, it is quite a fun listen. Does the effect wear off halfway through? Kind of, yeah. And this is where I start to have issues with it. But overall, there is quite a lot here to like. It starts off slow with Girl Overcome, this beautiful harp, her vocals floating over alongside this jazzy beat. And I hate to bring it up again, but there really is this Amy Winehouse comparison that you just can't really ignore here. The difference is, though, Raye really pulls it off in her own way. Seriously, her voice is on another level. The people she writes songs for, I bet you they wish they had her voice. Production-wise, this album is pretty top tier. It sounds great. It's loud, it's fun, and then it sort of slips into something more macabre, maybe. And there's a real mixture of sounds and techniques, albeit slightly done before, say. There's even a bit of Hans Zimmer in there. But it does feel slightly repetitive in feel. Not necessarily in songs, but emotional textures over time. That being said, though, there are a few moments that break up this monotony, and this is where the album saves itself a bit. Lifeboat, for example, it's housey, it's upbeat with these emotional lifting, like vocal samples from, I'm assuming, people she knows, maybe. It reminds me of the band Gunship. When you grow up, your heart dies. Never thought I'd be mentioning them in a Raye review, but here we are. Throughout the album, a lot of these songs feel like they're meant to be performed on stage. South London Loverboy, for example, she really paints this clear picture. It's almost too detailed in parts. Those who aren't from London, they need to know what she's talking about, right? The broader audience. And actually, this is kind of where the album gets a bit darker as well. There's something interesting going on because she's so descriptive and precise. It feels like she's building up a character rather than a song. But underneath all that, there's a bit of a darker message, especially at the end of South London Loverboy. The music sort of turns into this really cool, jazzy, cool cat club thing. I'm not cool. It kind of hits you with that reality that you have to be careful at night, especially as a woman. You just have to watch your back the whole time. There are some lighter moments because it's not all doom and gloom. Click, Clack, Symphony, for example. I tell you, living in London, the amount of bloody high heel shoes I have to listen to walk past my house every time I hear it, it sounds just like my cat throwing up. So every time I hear it, I jump up ready to go clean up some vomit. Lola, no! Some standout tracks for me, if you're picking a few, that is. You have Joy, which is super upbeat, really fun, and it has that gospel edge to it. And then the lead single, Where Is My Husband, which isn't groundbreaking, but I do quite like it. It's fun, it's something you can kind of have a little boogie to, you know. I'm not really hearing anything new here though, and this is probably the biggest criticism, and I'm kind of convinced she never meant it to be something new, but more something fun and upbeat to listen to. It's loud, it's bold, and it does feel like it's made for a broader pop audience. And honestly, that kind of makes sense in terms of saleability. So where does that leave this music may contain hope? It's an album that's more about execution than innovation. There are some really nice moments, but there are some really kind of repetitive, almost boring moments, even though it's so upbeat and wild. The production, the vocals, the emotion is really up there, and I think that's something to be admired in this album. But at the same time, it can feel a little too much, too long, too theatrical, and too emotionally heavy in one sitting. Still, I think I enjoyed it for what it is. It's not groundbreaking, but it's confident, well crafted, and I think it's very much Raye. So with all of that, I think I would give this album a 6 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you thought down below. Feel free to watch another video or subscribe, whatever you like, and yeah, hopefully see you on the next one. Goodbye.